Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving right into a challenge that honestly touches every single one of us. We're talking about how to find lasting peace when the world around us just feels completely out of our hands. Drawing directly from Thomas Alethia's really profound book, 12 Steps to a Good Life, we're going to unpack this powerful idea of finding true contentment right smack in the middle of a chaotic world. So, consider this. What if your true happiness had absolutely nothing to do with what actually happens to you today? I mean, it really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? We constantly rely on external, totally uncontrollable factors, our jobs, other people's moods, or even just annoying daily inconveniences to dictate how we feel. We're always waiting for good things to happen so we can finally feel good. But what if we've got that equation completely backwards?
Section 1. The Illusion of Control.
Okay, let's dive into this. The core concept here is that the harder we try to control the external world, well, the more miserable we become. It's literally like trying to hold water in your bare hands. Instead, think about this contrast. Our external circumstances are inherently chaotic, totally uncontrollable, and super fleeting. You might get a flat tire or get caught in a downpour, right? But our internal state? Now that is a place that can be incredibly still, entirely controllable, and deeply permanent. The frantic world outside is always going to be doing its own crazy thing, but we actually have the power to cultivate a profound stillness inside ourselves.
50 to 80%. Now, research discussed in the text reveals a pretty surprising truth. Genetics actually influence 50 to 80% of our baseline capacity for happiness. Okay, at first glance, that might sound kind of discouraging, right? Like, well, it's out of my hands, but think about the flip side. The remaining percentage is completely up to us. It's up to our internal habits, our perspectives, and our deliberate everyday choices. We actually have a massive, highly workable margin to shape our own contentment, entirely independent of what life throws at us.
Section 2. Discovering your inner focus.
So, since we clearly can't control the outside world, we've got to pivot. We have to look inward. The source material defines this concept of inner focus as a deeply personal blended practice. It uses things like prayer, meditation, and just dedicated quiet time to strengthen the spirit and connect with something greater. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that this isn't some esoteric, rigid religious rule. Not at all. It's a highly practical, totally accessible centering tool. You don't need any special equipment, you don't need years of training, you literally just need the willingness to quiet your mind for a bit. And to demystify the process even further, it really just comes down to 3 incredibly simple steps. Breathe, pause, and turn inward. That's the whole shebang. You start by simply noticing your breath. Then, you deliberately pause, actually creating a tiny little gap between your racing thoughts and your reactions. And finally, you turn your attention inward, completely away from your endless to-do lists and the noise of the day. Anyone can use these steps right now, exactly where they are.
Section 3. The Seed of Joy.
Now, what's really interesting about this next concept is that it's the true climax of our internal journey. During the practice of inner focus, you essentially learn to identify and nurture a seed of joy. The author describes this specific visualization perfectly. He calls it a tiny spark deep within myself, like a tiny candle flame in the vast dark of the universe. Just pause and let that powerful metaphor sink in for a second. It's this profound, quiet revelation of joy that lives right inside you. And here is exactly why this visualization is a total game changer. This tiny flame, it remains completely independent of any external life events or circumstances. It is utterly untouched by the chaos of the outside world. Whether you're having the absolute best day of your entire career or you're facing a really terrible personal setback, nurturing this specific seed allows you to find contentment regardless of what is happening around you. It's a permanent, unshakable fixture you can always return to.
Section 4. Nurturing your inner spark.
Of course, it's one thing to find that spark. It's a whole other challenge to keep it alive, right? How do we actually protect this fragile internal flame from being blown out by the gale force winds of daily stress? Well, we need practical applications. First up, daily quiet time. Intentionally carving out moments where absolutely nothing is demanded of you. Second is mindful breathing. And third, releasing the urge to control, which the book refers to as non-attachment. By letting go of specific outcomes and committing to that daily quiet time, we basically build an impenetrable shield that protects our spark from the harshness of reality. A fantastic, super tangible way to practice this is the 4-7-8 breathing technique. It's so simple. You inhale deeply for 4 counts, you hold that breath for 7 counts, and then you exhale slowly for 8 counts. This physical action literally calms your nervous system. It creates much-needed space between your racing thoughts, and it acts as the perfect, steady fuel for that seed of joy. Best of all, it's a tool you carry in your back pocket everywhere you go.
Section 5. Contentment in any circumstance.
By consistently using these tools, we develop a deeply unshakable center, what the text beautifully calls the sacred center. This is a place within you that is entirely untouched by time, by circumstances, or by judgment. It is a pure place of strength and calm. Beyond your ego, way beyond your daily worries and anxieties, there is this eternal sanctuary. And when you actively nurture your seed of joy, this sacred center naturally becomes your new baseline.
You know, we often get so incredibly caught up in chasing happiness. It's everywhere. But remember this, happiness is just the byproduct of living a good life, not the ultimate goal you're supposed to chase. When you finally stop chasing the emotion itself and instead focus your energy on living well, practicing your inner focus, nurturing that tiny seed of joy, and just letting go of control, true contentment becomes your default setting. It becomes accessible anywhere, anytime. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final, lingering thought. What will you use to ignite your spark today? Are you going to take just 5 minutes for some mindful breathing? Will you actively choose to let go of trying to control a really frustrating situation? You have all the tools, and that resilient little flame is already right there inside you, just waiting to be nurtured. Thank you so much for joining me on today's Explainer. Keep looking inward, and definitely keep nurturing that spark.